Time to shoot the rock. This is the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN 102.7 FM, AM 1450, AM 1230, and streaming live on ESPNKY.com. Your weekly double-barrel dose of the biggest names, best products, and most intriguing topics in the world of firearms. Brought to you by Hilux Optics, Swagger by Pods, Shoot with Confidence, J&K Used Cars on the Bypass, and Mohawk Outdoors. In pursuit of liberty, justice, and all things guns. Here are your hosts, Nick and Nate Noble.
Hey, welcome back to the Rockcastle Gun Show. It's your host, Nick and Nate Noble, and we're here in the ESPN studios, Bowling Green, Kentucky, 102.7, and you can stream it live on ESPN Radio 1027.com. Welcome to all of our streaming listeners out there. We got our producer, Garrett Browning, in the house, Nate, and he's on the board. He's doing some good stuff, and we even got our dad, Jim Noble. We're trying to get him up to the mic, but I don't know. He's always shies away from that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but he's got other things on his mind right now. We got food cooking somewhere that we need to get to after the show, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's right. We're going to get back up to the lodge and cook with a real American hero, Randy Worst's doing a survival, the whole survival kind of medic deal class this weekend.
This one's like surviving everything. He's doing his survival class, which is the worst case scenario survival school, Chief worst case scenario. But then he's doing like surviving a gunfight and shooting out of vehicles and all kinds of stuff, carjackings and that kind of deal. And then he's got a guy coming in Friday night, Doc, who is a tactical medical expert and a survival medical expert, really. And we're looking forward to that class. We're going to sit in on that and learn some skills from the Doc.
We're going to get some skills on that one.
And that's what we do at the Rockcastle Shooting Center. We have all these things going on. And don't forget to shout out our friends at 106.1 in Elizabethtown. They're going to tune in Saturday morning early while I'm out deer hunting and listen to the biggest names, best products, and the most interesting topics in the world of firearms.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a great show tonight. We're going to talk optics with a great, what I'll call a new and up-and-coming company right now that sponsored the Pro-Am right on, and we're going to do that. We're going to talk to, in our second segment, Daniel Horner, arguably the most accomplished three-gun competitor in the world, and he's won sniper competitions, three-gun competitions. This guy was in Army Marksmanship Unit, and he's going to talk about his big win at Fort Benning last weekend, a big three-gun competition there.
Yep, Team Sig Sauer, Daniel Horner.
Yeah.
And then we're going, after that, we got your friend from...
Yeah, Cheryl Todd from Gun Freedom Radio. They have their own radio show and podcast. They were just up in Washington, D.C. for the 2A rally with our great friend Lady Di that we have on the show quite a bit. And this rally was one of the most diverse, coolest things. We'll get Cheryl to talk a little bit about the big 2A thing that happened in front of the Capitol steps.
It was amazing.
Last week.
It was amazing. Cool. Wish we would have been there.
Yeah,
that's one of those bucket list things. We'll have to do it next year. But our first guest, man. I like to bring in guests that are sponsors and supporters of our shooting sports, and these guys, without a doubt, are stepping up big time the last few years. Right on Optics, our friend Jeremiah Alexander. He's the product development manager. What's going on, man?
Man, a little bit of everything. We're excited for the new year, but excited to be a sponsor and to kind of keep spreading the word.
Yeah, and you guys, we say new, but you guys have been out since 2013, veteran-owned and founded. Tell us a little bit about your company and the vision behind it and what you guys do.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. We've been around a lot longer than people think, but we spent the first few years kind of just doing research, development, messing around with what the market wanted to see, what was going to work, what was going to stand up, and stand the tell of time. So we, like you said, veteran-owned, law enforcement-owned. How that came to be is Brady Speth. He's the CEO and founder. He's actually a country boy, believe it or not, first. So he's been hunting and shooting his whole life. Kind of, if you don't shoot a deer, you don't get to eat tonight kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, optics are important to this guy. So he's been hunting his whole life, and when he was 18, he joined the Air Force and spent a number of years there, and then came out and got, I was chasing my dogs out.
No.
and I had to come get him.
Release the hound.
I apologize. I'm trying to act like I'm not out of breath, but I am. It's a sorry fact, but I am.
That's no good. That's no big deal.
That's okay. So anyway, he joins. He gets out of the Air Force after serving overseas for a few years, and he joins federal police, Capitol Police. Capitol Police are basically dignitary protection for the legislative branch of the government. So my understanding is he didn't like that at all. So that was about the time Right On Optics started up. And again, I mean, we just wanted to build the best quality optics that money could buy, and we saw a spot where, people were being overcharged and under-delivered upon, and so I think we stepped in, and hopefully we intend to continue to fill that gap.
That sounds really good. Tell us a little bit about your lineup. I mean, you had a really cool picture on Instagram and also on Facebook with a big bull elk laying down on the ground. That comes near and dear to Nate and I's heart because we're from Colorado originally.
We're mountain boys.
Yeah, and elk hunting is one of our passions. But tell us about your product line and the optics that you guys offer.
Yeah, so, we started with just a few optics. We've worked our way up to about 14 right now. But for those that are looking to hunt, I should say first we have, the way the optics are lined up is there's a Mod 1, a Mod 3, a Mod 5, Mod 7. Mod 1 being an entry-level optic, and a Mod 7 being all the bells and whistles. Mod 3 being primarily pushed towards tactical AR platform kind of stuff, and Mod 5 being general shooting and hunting. So for you guys, you would want to know about the Mod 5 line. Currently, we have the 3 to 9. No one gives the 3 to 9 the credit it deserves, I don't think. It's been doing the job for a couple years now, right?
Right, long time.
Yeah, so just the tried and true 3 to 9 with a duplex for those that are, that want that. And then we have a wide field of view 4 to 16 by 50. Awesome optic there. It has 2 MOA hash marks in the reticle, so it's a real thin reticle, but there are still some indicators, so if you have to do holdovers or windage. And then we have a first focal plane 6 to 24 by 50 with a ranging reticle in it. And that rounds up more or less the hunting line. We have the 4 to 20 by 50 in the Mod 7 line, which is also an incredible one for hunting. It's one of my favorite scopes we've had to offer, but 91 MOA of internal movement's pretty incredible in that price range. So I think you could use that one when it's not hunting season. You could go out and shoot distance with that one if you wanted, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so on your the price range is important with you guys, and it's crucial to everybody, and I understand completely, because through the years of shooting and hunting and what we've done with Rockcastle in the last 10 years, I've seen every kind of optic come across, from the cheapest Chinese stuff all the way up to the Swarovski or whatever you want to call the top end of that, Schmidt Bender, that kind of stuff, but you get optics is always, you kind of get what you pay for, and that's what people get soaked into. So what is the top end of yours, and what research did you guys come into to kind of settle into your price range?
Well, first I should probably back up one step and say that part of the reason we can do what we can do is because of the relationships forged over the years by Brady in the industry.
Yeah.
So we kind of have some connections that not everyone has, and we're doing some innovative stuff. But currently the most you would spend with Right On Optics is the Mod 7 4 to 32 by 56. That's $1,469.
And you're talking 4 to 32 by 56, first focal plane.
That's everything. That's all the bells and whistles. There. That's zero stops, yeah. Illuminated, stops, yeah. 34 mil tube, 56 objective, 31 mil of internal. That's a $3,000 scope, quite honestly.
Right.
That's a steal. And that's the most expensive currently.
Yeah, and then the value price thing is crucial, because Back in the day when Grandpa gave me the 30-06 and I went and bought the $35 Simmons from Walmart, because I was a poor college kid or whatever, young man. Man, optics have changed a lot. The glass, even in the lesser expensive glasses that are out there, and you guys I would put you guys kind of in the. You're kind of in the same price point range as Vortex and some of the new Sig Sauer stuff, and that's awesome because you're making really good optics at that price point, and that's crucial because a lot has changed over the years, and the better the optic, the better you are as a shooter and a hunter and all those things because of so many factors beyond, it comes into light filtration and light collection and your ability to see the field of view and things like that. So I'm all on board with you guys and what you're trying to do. I read through the company vision quite a bit, and you guys seem to have it going on.
Yeah, well, what we did too was, that people are spending, says Jeremiah, $300 to $700. Those are most people that are buying optics are spending in that range. Would you say? The meat.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair price range for just kind of a.
Yeah, I mean, just for the the general population. And so what we did is we took our optics line and we put a whole lot of optics in that price range, and we built them better than anything in that price range. And we knew we were going to be the new guys for a while, and so we went out there and did the unlimited lifetime warranty. That's
huge.
I mean, there's literally not a bigger selling factor than a good warranty, right? Anyone that's willing to stand behind their work is someone you can at least trust. And something that's a little different with our warranty is it's not you don't fill any paperwork out. You don't have to have a receipt. The optic is the warranty. If you have the optic and it breaks, then we're going to replace it. We're not going to fix it. We're not going to try to refurbish your beat up optic. Part of the reason we do that is if there's something that's happened, we don't ever want it to happen again. So we're going to take that thing apart. We're going to figure out how to make it better for next time. And, the end result for consumers is they can expect to have a brand new optic. And believe it or not, 48 hours after we get an optic, if we have one, we are sending a brand new optic out to a customer. That's big. I've been hunting and shooting my whole life, and I won't name names, but I waited 6 months for an optic one time, and I had to go buy another optic, right? Because it's hunting season. You get your gun out, you go to sight it in, and something's weird, right? You don't have months. You got like a week, and if you don't have a new optic, you're going to have to go get one, or you're not going to be able to hunt.
Yeah, I won't name names either, but one of the clients I had this year elk hunting had one of the most expensive optics made, and it was doing something to him on the mountain while we were up there. And he had sent it back, the same optic, 4 times to that company with different issues. And it always wasn't the same thing, but, even the big guys are going to have some problems from time to time. And the giant scopes that you're paying $4,000 for, they're going to have some problems. They're not perfect. Nothing in this world is perfect. And having the security of knowing that the company's going to take care of you is huge. Huge.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth, is there's nothing I know of in life, including myself. I just had a back fusion, so nothing I've run into in life has just always been flawless every time without fail. You run into problems. And so it's more about, how you deal with those problems than you do trying to convince people they don't exist. We're not doing a lifetime warranty with replacement and staying in business because we replace a lot of scopes. I will tell you that. They're built right. But we're out there to take care of folks, and we're out there to, just make sure whatever the problem is, we're going to fix it. So the service is a big part of what we do too.
Absolutely. Jeremiah is our guest from Right On Optics. And Jeremiah, you said that Brady and Kerry, founded the company, and it really was started with tactical kind of background. Talk about some of the scopes, because, Rockcastle Shooting Center, we're famous for running 3-gun competitions, and We do a lot of gas gun, long range stuff. Talk about some of those scopes on the tactical side that some of our listeners that tune in every week want to get a little fix on some 3-gun, because I mean we're gonna have Daniel Hunter, the best 3-gun shooter in the world.
Maybe next time when they hear you talk about it a little bit, they'll grab that off the prize table that you guys so generously provide to the matches.
Yeah, well, and part of the reason that we hit that tactical, like you said, is because that was the background. Friends and families, employees of Right On are all shooters, hunters. We've got Tier 1 military folks that are testing our stuff. We've got some guys that have been shooting your match since its inception, military guys that are all about their tactical scopes. So I would say right now our top-of-the-line tactical scope, we have a 1-8 by 28 first focal plane scope. It's got a nice reticle in there, 5 MOA hash marks, super, super precision scope. The 1-8's kind of making a big buzz right now. You'll see a number of different things come out in the future, 1-10s even from other companies. But if you want a non-parallax, 1-2-5, 1-6, 1-8 power scope that works, check out that Right On 1-8. That thing's incredible. And I would say, I may get in trouble for saying this, but I think a scope that kept us in business for a long time, we had it's our Mod 3 1-4. Push-pull, lock-in turrets, parallax-free. It just works. It's a bullet drop compensator for a 55 grain, 5.56, illuminated and a non-illuminated version of that one. From
it's a working
MSRP
man scope, man.
$229 to $339. You know what I mean? Like you said, that's in that price range. That's realistic. It's a warranty that lasts forever, and it's built better than anything even near the price range.
Sweet. And when we talked on the phone earlier, you had a sneak peek. You weren't going to give us all the information, but you got some new stuff coming. Real quick, tell us about that.
Yeah, so I'm particularly excited. I teach long range shooting with a retired Navy SEAL, and so we see all kinds of stuff come through. We have all kinds of questions. So I've been collecting data for a long time on some new reticles that I think people are going to go nuts for. And then we've just integrated some features that are unheard of in the price ranges that we have. I think people are going to be excited to see that. I'm trying to make sure I don't stick my foot in my mouth and say something I'm not supposed to, but we'll have a whole new line of optics coming out for 2020 with all the bells and whistles in every price range. We're going farther up the ladder too, so we're going to have some more expensive optics. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Whatever world, hunting, tactical, general shooting, there's going to be something in this new line that people like. So
sweet, man.
We're beyond excited.
Well, I know you can go to Right On Optics, RITON optics.com. Where else can we find some info about you guys and see some pictures of some big bull elk?
Yeah, we're on Instagram, same thing, Right On Optics, Facebook, Right On Optics. I would encourage folks to check their forums, Snipers Hides, place like that, any place that buy and sell, because I think our customers are doing the best advertisement for us, right? And those are people that you can count on or are telling you the truth, right? Because they're not getting paid to say anything.
I'll tell you this.
Check out some reviews.
I'll tell you this. I'm on a closed Facebook group called Elk Addicts. So you have to kind of be invited to, and there's people recommending your optics on there all the time. And that's some of the things you look for in a company is people recommending and doing things and promoting the brand, knowing that it's a good product and good deal, and that you take care of them. So, Jeremy, thanks for coming on the Rockcastle Gun Show, man.
Yeah, hey, we're excited, and our motto, see the difference. Literally, go pick up one of our scopes and take a peek, and you will see the difference.
Right on. Right on.
Jeremiah
Thanks,
Alexander with Right On Optics. Thank you so much for being on the Rockcastle Gun Show. We'll get you back on after you get some of those reticles out and everything else. We'll see you at SHOT Show, NRA Show, and everything else. You're listening to Nick and Nate Noble on the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Ron White, live.
If your eyes go bad, you can have LASIK surgery and they can give you 20/20 vision. But let me tell you something, folks. You can't fix stupid.
Saturday, February 8th, 8 p.m., Southern Kentucky Performing Arts Center.
And at our bank, there's one patch of manicured grass that has two little signs that both say, no dogs. So I take my dogs over there. And this guy comes waddling out of the bank with a big scowl on his face, and he goes, the sign says no dogs. I said, the sign's wrong.
Reserve seat tickets on sale Friday, November 22nd at 10 a.m. at the SkyPack box office, theskypack.com, or call 270-904-1880. Be a VIP and meet Ron White. Get info at tatersalad.com.
Yeah, they call me Tater Salad.
For mature audiences.
Hey, it's Nick Noble with the Rockcastle Gun Show here. We're talking about Swagger bipods. Do you want just your average barrel rest, or do you want to shoot with some swagger? Introducing the Swagger bipods. They expand your shooting zone with Swagger, the all-terrain hunting bipod. After more than 100 years, finally shooters have a bipod with patented, flexible, hyper-extending telescoping legs that give you the agility like never before. So get rid of stiff legs and get the bipod with infinite maneuverability. Swagger, the bipod that moves.
J&K Used Cars is the place to go when you need a quality automobile at an affordable price. Stop in at 670 on the Bypass in Bowling Green and see this week's special. 2006 Honda Ridgeline. Local trade comes with 4-wheel drive, good miles, leather interior, navigation and sunroof, chrome wheels, power options, and more for only $11,995. Hurry in because at that price it won't last long. J&K Used Cars with over 40 years of serving the community with affordable prices on quality automobiles. Visit J&K on the Bypass and online at jnkusedcars.com.
This is Nate from Rockcastle Shooting Center. Did you know that one of the premier shooting ranges in the world is right here in South Central Kentucky? Rockcastle Shooting Center has something for everyone's recreational shooting enjoyment. From 3D archery to our brand new sporting clays course, handgun ranges full of steel to targets out to a mile. There's no better place to get some trigger time than Rockcastle Shooting Center. Non-members are welcome, and memberships start at $150 per year. We offer a fantastic range of firearms training and education opportunities from the most basic to the most advanced. Come see us, exit 48 on I-65, Park City, Kentucky. Visit rockcastleshootingcenter.com.
It's John Scouten from Shooting USA on Outdoor Channel, and you're listening to the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio.
This is the theme song for the guy that's coming on the radio in a second. But you were on Shooting USA tonight.
Yes.
My brother and my son were on Shooting USA tonight, which is unusual. The next guy coming on's on there all the time.
Yeah, I know. It's no big deal
but
for
you
him.
being on Shooting USA is a big
proud.
deal.
I was proud.
With the Scutons. So we had a little Cave Mountain Clays action. We had a bunch of Corvettes coming in, and they came in and shot Sporting Clays course, and it was a shift and shoot. And the John Scouten and the boys came up and filmed with you guys. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a good interview, and it was great to showcase Cave Mountain Clays, which is one of the best sporting clays facilities around. And it was fun to see young Barrett Noble out there busting clays on the Outdoor Channel
on
tonight.
the Outdoor Channel.
Yeah.
So Daniel, I know you're listening. This was the first time Barrett has ever been out and shot sporting clays, and he beat my dad and my brother. Yeah. And I'm just saying that the AMU, you might want to send some word down. They may want to come get my son because he was shooting lights out with you guys on the Outdoor Channel.
Our next guest, let's bring him in. Daniel Horner was Sig Sauer, former Army marksmanship unit and one of the most phenomenal shooters in the world, coming off his big win at the Fort Benning 3-gun last weekend. And Daniel, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
And one of the best dudes around.
Yeah, one of the best dudes around, best families around.
I appreciate you guys having me on, man.
How you doing, Daniel?
Oh, great. Everything's great, man. I had a blast last weekend at the Fort Benning Multi-Gun Challenge, and got a chance to actually go down to Dallas to the Texas Gun Experience and help them with their store launch. So it was a busy but a great weekend.
Yeah, that's a lot to shove into one weekend. Win a major championship in 3-gun and then go open up a big gun store in Texas. So from Georgia to Texas.
So in Texas, man, I mean, you had to go down there and wear the Sig Sauer jersey, and people come up. How many people come up and talk to you at an event like that in Texas? What city was it in?
It was in Dallas, and they said, hey, let's go down here. We're gonna help open up this new gun store. And I said, oh, okay, cool. I'm thinking gun store. No, this place was out of control. It was one of the most impressive gun stores I've ever seen in my life. They had everything down there, beautiful indoor ranges. I mean, it was a super nice place. And they set us up. It was like a little mini SHOT Show in there. All the vendors in the training rooms and everything. Got to meet and greet everybody. Went out there and did a couple of demos with the 320 Legion. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great gun, man. We got to give one away at the Rockcastle Pro-Am just recently, and it's such a great platform. What a nice gun.
Oh yeah,
and
super happy with that thing.
So you've been shooting this thing for a while, and is that the gun you shoot in the Fort Benning 3-gun, or do you have some modification?
Yep. It actually was, and it's pretty funny. We took it down to Arkansas, where the SIG ammunition facility is, and it's got about 40,000 rounds on it right now. So they were like, I wonder what the accuracy is. So they cleaned the barrel and put it in the test fixture, shot 5 10-shot groups, and at 25 yards with the Match Elite ammo, it averaged 2.6 inches at 25 with almost 50,000 rounds through the gun.
That's impressive.
So that was the gun you used for a weekend, Daniel.
Yep.
50,000 rounds.
Yeah, exactly.
So Daniel, you went down, Fort Benning Multi-Gun Challenge. I think last year this match, which is one of the biggest major matches and most popular major matches in 3-gun, and everybody wants to go down there because the Army and the AMU has so many fun toys, and this was your second time. I think it was your first match that you shot after getting out of the Army Marksmanship Unit and leaving the Army and going into professional life, doing all the great things you're doing now, which we'll get into here in a little bit. But what's it like going back down there where you worked and lived and just...
It's got to be fun to shoot the match after being match director and having to do all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Going down there and seeing everybody and all that. It's funny, though. There's no quarter given. Everybody's watching, so you can't mess anything up or they're on you. But, no, it was a lot of fun. All the ROs are great. They're all guys I worked with, and it's pretty cool to go out on a stage, and the guy that's ROing you's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and then you go next door, and it's some guy that owns, 10 of the service rifle championships or records or whatever. It's a really cool experience. So they do a great job, and this year they had everything: strikers, machine guns, sniper rifles, all that type stuff. So guys get more than just a match down there.
Yeah, and that's an experience. And I thought it was really cool that a lot of the range officers, the ROs, were actually folks that were not 3-gunners, but they were, like you said, world champions, Olympic champions, all these different things. But I guarantee you that thing ran like a clock. I bet it was perfect.
It ran like a top, man. And then, but Friday it was pouring down rain. I mean, it was pretty miserable conditions. So they switch from competitor to soldier, and they get everybody through the courses of fire, and they're out there getting rained on just like everybody else. But
sure.
It's neat to go out there and see guys that are like completely unfazed. It's like, get your stuff, get ready. We got a match to shoot.
That you helped put on that match for many years, and now you've been a competitor for 2 years. And was there any twists in that 3-gun match down there this year? A little bit something different that I saw you going. Like, you didn't have to limbo, but you had to crawl under and go over and step over and go under all these different colored, they look like PVC barricades. Yeah. That was a pretty cool stage.
One thing they do really well down there, and I used to try to do when I was there. So they try to make you think, and they also try to make it physical, but it's not physical in a way that, if you can't do it, there's a way around it. You might have to take a penalty or something. But like they had a big Skedco drag, which is like a casualty mover. So it's a big piece of plastic, and they had sandbags in it. And it's got a big rope tied to it, so you got to pull that. And so they make it to where it's challenging. But if for some reason somebody can't actually physically do it, then you just accept the penalty and go on with the course of fire. And then the thinking part, they've got a couple of stages with like color coordinated targets where, these targets are red, white, and blue, and the boxes are red, white, or blue, or the ports are red, white, or blue. So you got to think and make sure you're shooting the right thing from the right box and not running out of ammo in the wrong spot, and adding more to it than just the shooting in a really fun way.
So you ended up winning TAC Optics. Who were the next couple past you?
I know Joe Farewell was right there.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of a close match.
Kids cranking it, man.
With us as we were going through there.
That's awesome, man. So you did that. You went back and you dominated that. You went and opened up a big gun store in Dallas. Tell us what's going on with Sig Sauer right now. I mean, you're spending a lot of time, and also after that, maybe some of your training regiment and some of the stuff you're doing with courses across the country, so some of these listeners can maybe tap into some of your knowledge sometime.
I get a lot of enjoyment out of working just the day-to-day job at SIG, you know, helping develop products and things like that. You know, we've got some really cool stuff coming out at SHOT Show that hasn't been seen yet, as far as not only new guns, but new optics, new ammunition, a lot of really cool stuff for the consumer, and that's been tested in some pretty cool and pretty austere environments. So my day-to-day job is helping with that, you know, getting that stuff developed and improved on as best I can. And we all sit down in a room and hash it out, and everybody's got their ideas, and we try to make the products better. And then the other side of it is interfacing with the actual end users and the consumers and going out there and saying, hey, man, what do you want? You know, if your rifle or your optic or your ammo could do anything, what would you want it to do? And then taking that back to the engineers and seeing if that's something that's possible. So I really enjoy that part of the job.
Yeah, and so last week, I think it was episode 137, we had Jason Day on from Oneida Molded Plastics, and we talked about the next generation weapons system for the U.S. military, and you guys are finalists. And so I know you're doing the consumer stuff. Do you get to be involved in those projects as well?
Oh yeah, that's a really big deal.
It's a big deal,
it's a huge deal.
Yeah,
it's like history changing. It's just history of the world,
with
man.
That one, he started this, or he didn't start the company, but he took the company from a couple of pistols and a couple of obscure rifles to now we're finalists in the Army Next Generation weapon system. That's huge, man.
Well,
you're talking about guns. The M60 was in service for how long? I mean, we're shooting the M2 from 1900 whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you what, last week with Jason Day, who is very familiar because he used to work at Textron, now he works for Oneida Molded Plastics, and they're involved in some of the things. But just the fact that, you know, this kudos to Sig Sauer because, you know, it's General Dynamics, Textron, and Sig Sauer, the finalists in the next generation, which is literally going to change the history of guns in the United States and the military and everything else.
Big deal.
That's exciting, man.
Oh yeah,
and
it's really cool. And to see 55-gallon drums of brass being hauled out every day from all the testing that we're doing, and order 10 more barrels. We got 10 more barrels to test, and it's a massive undertaking that people. They don't get to see a lot.
Yeah, and that one of the comments I made today was that Textron and those companies are not small companies. But the thing that was exciting to me is it also the next generation weapon system comes with optics, and some of the things that they're incorporating in optics, you guys already do.
And ammo.
And ammo.
You guys are so vertically integrated.
Like you're vertically integrated. That's exciting for Sig Sauer, and it's got to be a cool thing.
Oh, it is, man. And it's not just like, a lot of guys think optics and ammo, okay, cool, whatever. No, I mean, they don't even refer to it as optics. It's the fire control system. I mean,
right.
It's an optic that will laser range find the target, move the crosshairs to the corrected point of aim, and give you a shooting solution. It's an ammo that, instead of running normal pressures, it's almost double the pressure of a normal round. I mean, we're doing some pretty amazing stuff that was truly not possible even 3 to 5 years ago.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, for the civilian market, what you call the fire control system, the optics, you guys do that now with the Sig Sauer BDX rifle scopes and stuff. They're range finding. You know,
Yeah,
the
you can
rangefinder that you have, I carry one elk hunting with my guides, the Kilo 3000 BDX system. It's badass. And it interfaces with the rifle scope in your app, and it's totally cool. Very cool.
I see today. It won't be long before that is the only, that's the only accepted way to hunt. Just like it won't be long before every pistol will have a red dot on it. Those days are coming quickly.
I'll tell you something about the. Go. I'm sorry. I
was going to say the BDX system. You basically download an app on your phone, put your rifle scope on your rifle and zero it, and then lays whatever you want to shoot. And there's a red dot that pops up in your scope. Put that red dot on the target, pull the trigger.
It's awesome.
Gives you your hold, man.
So I'll give you some props and just some feedback from a customer, because guiding elk hunting. One of my other customers had a range finding binocular that costs in the neighborhood of $3,500, let's say, and we were up on top of a mountain, and I can see 20 mountains from there, right? And I'm ranging mountains and rock piles and trees with my SIG BDX, which is I think the binoculars are $1,200. I'm ranging out to like 3,800 meters and yards with that thing, and he couldn't hit 2,000 with his $3,500 ones, and he was so mad. He was so mad. It was not even funny, but props to you guys.
One of the cool things about that thing, obviously it shoots a laser out there, and it detects the light coming back, right? So the thing that our engineers have been able to do is they've got a much better way of filtering out all the other wavelengths of light. So when that laser returns, not only does it see it quote unquote clearer, it sees it much, much faster and
way faster. It's unbelievable. It's instantaneous at 3,700 yards.
I think it's four ranges a second on that thing.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And the tracking feature, Ben and I were out in Thunder Valley looking at some deer last weekend as they were running across, and I love the fact you hold down the button and keep it on it, and it just changes the yardage with the deer. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And another cool thing is they brought in they've got these great engineers that are really, really top of their game doing this, but they listen to other people, right? So like they brought in a guy that really understands the ballistic side. So now I can take my binos, I can range something, and it gives me my hold in the binos. So I don't have to go back through my Kessler or anything. I just look at it, hit it. It tells me the range, and it tells me up 4.2 mils, and I can tell my shooter.
That's sweet.
Yeah, that's your hold. Send it again.
That's really cool. Now, Daniel, you've been doing a lot of training, training in terms of instruction. Or is that still on your schedule? I know you're staying packed and stacked with all your commitments to Sig Sauer and your competitive shooting schedule and everything else. Or you got some classes out there that are open for folks to maybe come join and get the knowledge from me, or you?
I do. I've got. I think I'm going to end up doing 8 or 10 weeks of military training this year, which keeps me pretty busy. That's a full week for me. But I've worked in a couple of civilian classes throughout the year, and we're going to try to do some more next year. I've got one that's coming up in Texas the beginning of next year. So, and if anybody ever wants one, if you don't mind, I'm just going to throw it out there.
Throw it out.
Send me an email to Daniel@danielhorner.com and let me know. And usually we try to run small. I like to run small classes so that everybody gets a lot out of it. And I try to do the same thing with the military, like no more than 10 to 12 guys, just because, I want to be there and I want to make the guys better, and I want people to leave being like, man, we got way more than we expected.
Yeah, you don't want to dilute it too much. You want that one-on-one, Daniel Horner genius going on. So that's cool. I know a good place where you can host some of those. So we'll try to get some of our listeners.
Yeah, man. You know where we could shoot a couple 100 yards with a rifle?
I think so, maybe.
We got that. So and the website, man, the training videos and stuff on Virtus. What's going on there?
So we've got a bunch of new videos coming soon on Virtus.com. It's a conglomeration of all the top shooters in the world, one or two shooters that are the true experts in their field from all shooting sports. We've got Vincent Hancock, who's I think he's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. For shotgun, we've got Brandon Green, who's won service rifle championships countless times. Me, Jerry Micklick. We've got Jake Bibbert, who just won the $40,000 PRS shoot down in Georgia. And
we had him on the show a couple weeks ago. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a great guy, man.
So tell us a little bit more about this. So they go on and they subscribe, and then all of these training videos are actually they can tap into whatever they want if they're a subscriber.
Yeah, so we're all sitting around, and basically, we were getting kind of frustrated with some of the quality of instruction that's out there on the internet. And we were like, we want to help people. We want to make them better, but, we can run 10 guys in a class. How do you reach thousands and thousands of people? So what we decided was online training is a great step for most people, and it's extremely affordable. So for $15 a month, you can go on there and get access to all this information. And it's great because it's applicable to everybody. I mean, there's stuff on there for the dove hunter, the duck hunter, the deer hunter, as well as the guy that wants to go win his next national championship. So we try to break it down real short, very specific videos so you can get on there, watch something, go out there and implement it,
It's tips, tactics, drills, things that you need to know to learn from literally the best shooters in their game.
And I had a guy, he called me the other day. He's like, hey, man, when are you putting more videos up? And I was like, well, there'll be more coming at the turn of the year. He's like, well, I've already watched all of them, so, I'm looking for the next ones. I'm like, man, some of those things took me 10, 12 years to master.
Yeah, let's go master that first.
It in the last 8 days.
Go back and watch it again, bro. It's going to take some time.
Watch it and then do something with it.
Yeah. Right on, Daniel. Well, thanks for coming on the Rockcastle Gun Show. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, thank you guys, man. It's a pleasure to talk to y'all, and good luck, and I hope everybody that's listening gets to the range soon.
We appreciate you every time. We're going to have you back on again one of these days when we call. At least answer the phone or something, even if you can't talk to us. Right on. Everybody, Daniel Horner, Team 6 Hour. Pleasure having you on. We're going to go pay some sponsors. We'll be right back on the ESPN Rockcastle Gun Show, ESPN Radio 102.7.com.
Although hunting to most of us is much more than just harvesting animals, why not better your deer herd's health with Big & J Long Range Attractant? Big & J is highly digestible, high in protein, and isn't full of preservatives. With Big & J Long Range Attractants, you're not only exploiting one of the few weaknesses whitetails have, their stomachs, but you're maximizing antler growth, improving overall herd health, and pulling deer from your neighbor's property. So whether your goals are to fill the freezer, kill mature bucks, or both, Big & J Long Range Attractants will stack the odds in your favor, all the while making your deer herd bigger and healthier.
J&K Used Cars is the place to go when you need a quality automobile at an affordable price. Stop in at 670 on the Bypass in Bowling Green and see this week's special. 2006 Honda Ridgeline. Local trade comes with 4-wheel drive, good miles, leather interior, navigation and sunroof, chrome wheels, power options, and more for only $11,995. Hurry in because at that price it won't last long. J&K Used Cars with over 40 years of serving the community with affordable prices on quality automobiles. Visit J&K on the Bypass and online at jnkusedcars.com.
This is Nate from Rockcastle Shooting Center. Did you know that one of the premier shooting ranges in the world is right here in South Central Kentucky? Rockcastle Shooting Center has something for everyone's recreational shooting enjoyment. From 3D archery to our brand new sporting clays course, handgun ranges full of steel to targets out to a mile. There's no better place to get some trigger time than Rockcastle Shooting Center. Non-members are welcome, and membership start at $150 per year. We offer a fantastic range of firearms training and education opportunities from the most basic to the most advanced. Come see us, exit 48 on I-65, Park City, Kentucky. Visit rockcastleshootingcenter.com.
Welcome back to the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio. We've been having fun tonight. We had our friends from Ride On Optics come on, friends and sponsors of many matches and supporters of the shooting sports. We talked to Daniel Horner, like the dude.
Living legend.
Living legend. He's going to make, if there's a Hall of Fame for everything, he'd make it one of these days. Great guy. Talking about Team 6 Hour, his win at Fort Benning 3-gun match, the next generation weapon systems contract that's coming up that Sig Sauer's a part of. And on Virtus, their online training platform's phenomenal. I mean, you can't beat it. And we're not stopping now.
No, we're not stopping now. And, every once in a while, the Rockcastle Gun Show, Nate and I like to bring on some other media out there that's in. And I guess we should get a media badge for SHOT Show. We've never done that.
Media would be cool.
Yeah, maybe give us more
I think
access.
the buyer badge gives us more access. But
who knows?
Who knows?
But anyway, we're honored to have, for the first time on the show, Miss Cheryl Todd, who's her and her husband are the founders of Gun Freedom Radio, and they do all kinds of really cool stuff. They've been up in Washington, D.C. for the big 2A rally recently. That's right. They caught my attention a little bit. One of our dear friends, Lady Di, is on the show a whole bunch. Diana Muller, and is doing some great things. And they were rallying up in front of the Capitol steps. And Cheryl Todd is our guest right now with Gun Freedom Radio. Welcome to the Rockcastle Gun Show.
So much for having me. This is so exciting. I really appreciate this.
Well, that's cool. Hey, tell us a little bit about Gun Freedom Radio. I mean, I just love what you guys are doing. I've listened to a whole bunch of your shows and doing that. And I reached out to Lady Di and said, hey, let's get Cheryl on and tell us about you and tell us about Gun Freedom Radio.
I appreciate that. So Gun Freedom Radio, my husband and I are co-hosts, and that's a whole bag of tricks right there, right? Husband and wife with a microphone.
Yeah, we're two brothers, so we get it.
Exactly. So hot mic moments, But we decided to develop a show that would bring experts in their field in front of America, because when we brought this idea forward, it was during President Obama's terms, and there was so much confusion out there. People were constantly asking he and I, because we also own a gun store, azfirearms.com. So people, in the grocery store or on the playground when our daughter was younger, you could tell they wanted to know more about the whole gun thing, but it was almost like, they weren't allowed to even talk to us because we were these weird people who, were the purveyors of death. And, just a couple of years before, we were just business owners, and we just happened to sell a particular kind of inventory that was a tool of self-defense or a tool of hunting, and then suddenly this whole narrative changed, and people just really were hungry for factual information. And my husband and I, we didn't want to be that source ourselves. I didn't want somebody to say, well, Cheryl Todd said, or Danny Todd told me. We wanted to reach out to the Diana Mullers of the world and say, what do you have to tell us about competitive shooting? Or we would go to people who are hunters and we would say, talk to us about how hunting is conservation. Or we would go to somebody in the gun rights advocacy world and say, talk to us about this latest bill that's being proposed and kind of demystify it for us.
No, that's really cool. And you guys, you have a 2-hour show. We have a 1-hour show. It goes like blink of the eye, but can't imagine having a 2-hour show. But you guys are on the Salem Network, KKNT, 9:30 a.m. The Patriot in Phoenix, Arizona, and that's really cool.
It's a cool market.
Yeah, that's a cool market, and I think you're right. There's so many people starving. I mean, you can listen to any politicians, especially the anti-gunners, and they don't even know how to talk about guns the proper way. They're calling magazine clips, and they're talking about there's just so much stupid stuff out there. And you guys you're driving that narrative and introducing folks to not only nomenclature but just things and facts and good stuff. So I really think that's really cool.
Well, it's been a really fun and interesting journey, and I'm just always hungry myself to learn something new, and I'm fascinated by people's personal stories. And so for me, it's mostly fun. Of course, doing your own show, it's a ton of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's mostly fun.
Hey, tell us about being in Washington, D.C. at the 2A rally. You guys did a really nice little synopsis of all the speakers up there. What a diverse crowd. What a diverse crowd of speakers and a diverse crowd out there. It was a huge rally. we're lucky enough to know the vast majority of the speakers that got up, and that's really cool. Tell us about that experience and being with Gun Freedom Radio and covering that. What was it like?
Well, thank you for asking that, and that takes me right back to the fun part of what I get to do. You know, I'm not a journalist. You know, I don't have any special degrees or anything in how to do radio or how to, you know, do public speaking, but yet I found myself as just a citizen of this nation who decided to start doing something about my own level of ignorance about our Constitution and our Second Amendment rights to teach others. And then you flash forward a few years, and I find myself standing in front of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C., and speaking, as you said, alongside this amazing and diverse group of other speakers and to a crowd of 2,000-plus American patriots who showed up on that day. It was really a bucket list item that I would have never realized I could put in my bucket. And I say all of that to encourage your listeners that you can be an advocate for, you know, for me it's the Second Amendment. I have one lane, right? That's my main lane. And so if you have a passion, you can apply yourself to that passion. You can start your own podcast. You can write your own blog. And you can move into these spaces that have you really, truly touching thousands of lives to impact them positively about whatever your passion is.
Absolutely. And I want to interrupt you just for a second because you're no stranger to D.C. because you're also and our listeners, if you've been listening to the show at all, we cover the D.C. project very heavily here. Lady Di comes on, Ryan comes on. But you're also the representative of there's a lady from all 50 states that goes to Washington, D.C. every year, and you represent Arizona. And you go there and all of you ladies, try to engage, doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, you engage them in conversations about the Second Amendment. What's it mean to represent Arizona and have a voice in D.C. at all these wonderful ladies coming up there?
It's incredibly humbling, and I am in awe at what Diana Muller has put together with bringing these 50 women, these powerful, passionate women who come together, and we work shoulder to shoulder. And it's such a beautiful vision of what really we should be doing across this nation, and stop fighting with each other and start fighting for what we all believe in. And that should be, in my opinion, our constitutional protections that our founding fathers put into place. But it's an incredible experience. And working alongside women who, you know, we're not in lockstep as far as like the political, because we do have liberals, we have conservatives, we have independents, people from every spectrum.
Transgender, I mean, it covers the spectrum of everything. It's really incredible.
It does, and it challenges me personally to make sure that when I'm speaking or when I'm doing my show or when I'm talking to my guests on the radio, that I don't get too pegged out in one particular way of thinking or speaking, so that I narrow my audience. I try to reach that middle space, the people that are truly hungry for information and undecided about what all of this means, and help them have some fresh, real ideas that aren't just talking points. So when they go into the voting booth or when they decide to step up for political office to serve themselves, that they have a rich and diverse set of information. And really, my involvement with the D.C. Project has served that, not only my fellow delegates, but when I go into these offices and talk to our representatives, and I hear them say to us, what you can do for us is to be a resource for us, to tell us what you think, because we can't represent you if you don't talk to us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we only have like about a minute left, but I want you to tell us a little bit about your gun store. It's really cool to be in the gun industry, have your own store, entrepreneurs. Now you're putting your voice out there on Gun Freedom Radio. Where can everybody find Gun Freedom Radio? GunFreedomRadio.com. We're on the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook.
The gun store is azfirearms.com, again, on all those. We also have an auction house, potofgoldestate.com, and we have an annual gun and military auction coming up on December 9th. You can bid online. Check that out. We are based in Arizona, but because of this wonderful digital world we live in, we are nationwide. We are worldwide.
That's awesome. And you're also, you guys are putting together a big rally in Arizona on the Capitol grounds in February. So that's really exciting, too. You are a 2A advocate. God bless you. And we're very proud of you. Cheryl Todd, founder, and her husband of founders are the Gun Freedom Radio, and they've got an awesome gun store back there in Arizona. Go check them out everywhere. She just told you how to do it. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. You're listening to the Rockcastle Gun Show, Nate, and we'll be back
in a minute.
Right after these messages.
This is a Morgan & Morgan consumer message.
People think that all law firms are the same, but nothing could be further from the truth. A lot of lawyers never go to court. They'll take the last best offer, even if the case may be worth 100 times that. Not us. Morgan & Morgan has 500 attorneys who aren't afraid to go to trial. We have the resources to take on the biggest bullies in America. All law firms are not the same. On your cell phone, dial pound law, pound 529. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. Offices, Bowling Green.
This is Nate from Rockcastle Shooting Center. Did you know that one of the premier shooting ranges in the world is right here in South Central Kentucky? Rockcastle Shooting Center has something for everyone's recreational shooting enjoyment. From 3D archery to our brand new sporting clays course, handgun ranges full of steel to targets out to a mile. There's no better place to get some trigger time than Rockcastle Shooting Center. Non-members are welcome, and memberships start at $150 per year. We offer a fantastic range of firearms training and education opportunities from the most basic to the most advanced. Come see us, exit 48 on I-65, Park City, Kentucky. Visit rockcastleshootingcenter.com.
Yeah, welcome back to the end of the Rockcastle Gun Show on ESPN Radio 102 points, ESPN Radio 1027.com, ESPNKY.com. You can listen to us on 106.1 in E-Town and 104 The Score, Glasgow news station. And I thought of two things through this show in the last segment with the Gun Freedom Radio people. Everybody that owns a gun and likes to shoot, whether it's for fun at the range or competitively, you got to find a way to get engaged in your Second Amendment rights and protect them, because it's crucial. And for all you animal lovers and all you hunters, the only reason there's elk in the national park is because people hunt them. Conservation comes through guns and gear and hunters. And that's it.
You're listening to the Rockcastle Gun Show. It's Nick and Nate Noah. Producer Garrett Brown will be back next week. You're listening to ESPN Radio, Rockcastle Gun Show.